Welcome back to our next exciting episode of Uncivil Discourse, hosted by Lee,
Hey, everybody.
myself, and our guest commentator this year, Jeff, with our extra special playoff guest, Battle Babe 2, Laura.
Hey. Hey, Lee, you waved, didn't you?
I didn't wave this time. I was more concerned that Jeff didn't say hi.
I was trying to, and then Brett just kept going on, so I figured I'd let him carry on.
Special announcements. It's a wrap, everyone. Season 3 is officially over and done. Great big thank you to all of our players this season and our fans for supporting us. It's been great having you guys with us. Show's over. Done. I'm out.
Postseason wrap-up is always my favorite time. We get the accomplishment of another season under our belts, while all the players are rambling on about next season already.
Ugh. Really? They're talking about next season already? I haven't even thought of, next week.
I can't wait. I'm wondering where they get the mech lists from.
We had people talking about next season before the final playoff matches were over.
Yeah, I know people that have already made lists based off of current lists for next season. So there's lots of people excited about this for sure. And that's good. That's what we want, right? Everybody be itching to come back and throw down one more time.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I was that person last year. I hadn't even finished being kicked out of the finals, and I'm looking at mechs going, what can I take next year?
Wait till they see the fact that we're switching everything to TRO 1947.
Oh, we're going to play Flames of War tanks?
Everybody shows up. We're sitting there with tanks going, the heck did you bring mechs for?
They are releasing a whole bunch of tanks later on this year.
Ooh.
In theory, it'll even be out in time for next season.
Except for Brett won't get his because, Catalyst doesn't like to ship to him.
No, didn't his shipment end up at the bottom of the sea?
Yeah, they fell off the boat.
It showed up, just months and months
Wet
late.
and waterlogged?
It's not like I haven't paid for it already, but oh wait, I have.
Now, for everyone that was at Awards Day, you already know how things worked out. But for our fans and those who couldn't make it, let's review those final playoff games. Game number 4, Division D, was a little short on bodies, but we covered it in our last episode. However, to recap, the Vengeful Ones are the D-side champions for this season.
Representing Crusader clans, this team fielded Laser Elementals, a Battle Cobra Prime, the Lancelot-C, and a Dire Wolf A.
Blah, bliddity, blah, blah. I just read what you write, dude. So, I don't know what to say about this Lance that I haven't already said. We've been talking about it all season, because really, its meteoric drop in the standings was so unexpected.
On paper, it's a championship lance.
Total glass cannon Lance.
And it finally did what it was supposed to.
Yeah, well, and you'd think with a direwolf, that saying glass cannon's kind of like, what do you mean? Yeah, that's the only one out of all 4 of them that actually has any real armor. But the lance on paper was kick-ass. So many pulse lasers, targeting computers, gauze rifles, Streak LRM-10. It was a really good lance. He didn't have very good luck. John, you did everything you could to try to win. It didn't work out, and then in the playoffs, everything turned around. So, good on you for winning the D side, and hopefully next season, if your lance is what we think it's going to be, should turn out to go really well for you.
So what you're saying is John's already talked and figuring out his lance for next season is what I just heard.
No, not at all. I'm just saying John normally picks decent mechs, and his luck just doesn't hold up.
That's a valid point. I mean, his lance this year was exactly what everybody was expecting and fearing out of a lance for the clans. So, I mean, we've all said it time and time again. On paper, we called for him all season to win, and, well, at least I did for the most part. And every time, it just, I don't know, that luck just kicked in and told him no. So let's hope that this is the start of turning around for him for next season. We see him move up and where he'll end up next year.
Game number 3, our Seaside Best Side Championship game, was played out on the Lunar Bullshit map. These two stable managers were like chess masters all day long, moving and counter-moving, layering strategies on top of each other and on top of other strategies.
And at the end of the day, this match ended in a 1-1 victory for the Fox Knights, coming down to pip count tiebreaker, 251 to 193.
Flying the Comstar flag and making excellent use of the C3 improved network, the Fox Knights put on the field a Phoenix Hawk 7CS, a modified Grasshopper 5H, the Flightless Exterminator EXT-5E, and that faction-teched twin Gauze rifle King Crab.
You never go wrong with a King Crab. I got a soft spot for them. Great mech. This
Yeah,
lands
it's
on
the
the
head
road.
from rotary autocannons.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Except when you play Brett, because Brett will do that. He'll roll 6 spins on rotary autocannons and peg you in the head 3 times. It was crazy. But everything with Scott's lance was fantastic. He thought this lance out. It was a great combination of speed and firepower. And then you hit that C3 network. Well done, Scott. Congratulations on your win. And hope that we will see you next year and look forward to seeing what you bring.
I completely see him being a B-side, if not A-side contender next season.
Absolutely. Game number 2, getting up there. Let's review our B-side championship game. Meeting on the Kozais River Valley, the Dead Man's Hand, representing St. Ives, match off against the Red Sons Irregulars.
Well, I called it. I was right.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I am. I told you last show that I was either going to be right on who was going to be the B-side champion and wrong about who I thought was going to win, or I was going to be wrong about who's going to be the B-side champion and right on who was going to win. So I was right. No matter which way this went, I was right. Gary came out on top with his clan Warden Force list. The Red Sons Irregulars started off fielding 5 little elementals, and to improve their lance, they swapped out their medium mech into a Dragonfly A mid-season. A modified archer with ATMs and a nasty Widowmaker Direwolf rounded out this lance.
Everyone that fielded the Direwolf this season did really well. 2 of our championship teams had one, and that's just a hard mech to beat. It could have been a liability too, though. With such a heavy BV in it, it really hampers what was available for the rest of the lads.
Lee, do you think you would have done better if you hadn't handicapped yourself with that Jaeger mech this year?
Nope. Actually, the Jagermech did fantastic. Thank you very much. The things that would have made my season better is if I had not started off with a Banshee and a season. If I picked other mechs, that might have made a difference because I spent a ton of points either modifying my mechs or upgrading to a different mech. And in the end, I only had gunnery skills. And some of those were weaker gunnery skills just because I didn't have the points.
That's a fair point. But the Jagermech, how'd it do for you in that last game? I'm really curious because I know you were wanting me to eat crow, so I need to know if I have to eat some here or not.
Well, it was a 4-0 game, so I definitely didn't kill anything with the Jagermech. But to be honest, it was hitting pretty hard. It probably came close to cutting the legs off the Direwolf all by itself because in the end, the Direwolf was down. It was missing a leg, its other leg had a hip hit, and I think I was almost to the point of killing it. But I didn't, as time sounded. Time sounded, actually. We were in the very last round when he killed my last mech. Like, last round of regular play.
So you at least gave him a fight, that's good. And went for a good amount of rounds.
It did well. It is what it is. It's 2 gauze rifles with a skill that helps hit the enemy in forest fire. Anybody who wants to try and hide, you can't go wrong with 2 gauze rifles. So, yeah, the only thing I can say I could have done better is picked better mechs right from the beginning.
Basically, a lot of people here were calling for Gary to be the top of B-side. He pulled it out. He came close last year too. So I'm expecting good things from Gary next year. I expect him on A side and be making a damn good run for it.
Yeah, he's come close to A side a couple of times. I think his first season he was relatively close. I think he was up in B. And last season he would have been in A side if Aaron hadn't pushed him out in the last game. Game number 1, the creme de la creme, the A side championship game. The Savannah Arena hosts this Battle of the Best. One of the first neoprene maps to come out is honored to be the battlefield today. Kells Keshik for the Capellan Confederation showed up with all of those plasma rifles, while the League of Robots showed up with the Clan large pulse lasers and other lasers and more lasers and targeting computers and some elementals too. So they had everything and the kitchen sink to throw at the Kells Keshik.
A jumping scorpion, the Tsang with plasma rifle, the Warhammer with twin plasma rifles, and the 4 plasma Fafnir seem to be today's winning combination to defeat some clanners. Between the plasma rifle and the physical domination of the Scorpion, who picked up 3 kills, our veteran shows the Rookie of the Year just what it takes to win a 4-2 victory.
This game was an absolute bloodbath. And it could have swung either way. Jared put up a hell of a fight. There was lots of times where I had to choose between eating fire or trying to get to being in position to be able to fire. It was back and forth. I got really lucky with a critical into his glass spider, which double gyroed the mech. I got 2 crits off of that. And when the spider fell over, my Scorpion moved in for the kill. The only kill the Fafnir actually got in that game was roasting the elementals, which is, well, that's what it does, right? That little ice ferret of Jared's, I hammered that. He put that out of position early in the game, got it stuck between basically, 3 out of 4 of my mechs, and I hit with a ton of stuff. That thing had no armor left, and do you think I could kill that? It was the second last mech to go down. Second last unit to go down. I chased that thing across the board trying to get it, and just could never nail it. Finally, the Scorpion managed to peg it off as well. I believe, if I remember correctly, the Scorpion actually managed to hit it with a PPC and core it by doing it. And then the Fafnir on the very last turn of the game, when the Daishi went down, the Scorpion had taken the leg off the Daishi and it had fallen over. The Fafnir moved in and fired off everything it could, and that Daishi propped and fired and cleared my left leg, left torso, and left arm with that volley of fire. So that last turn, that Fafnir was laying on its side, just like, what the hell just happened to me? So, like I said, that game could have swung either way at any point in time. It was a hell of a fight, and I'm glad that I got to actually sit down and play against Jared. We joked around at the start of the game. Jared had borrowed my mechs for the season to use for his lance, and we joked around about, well, the mechs remember who the owner is. So it was kind of a running gag for us through the game. But once again, Jared, thank you. It was a fantastic game, and look forward to seeing you again across the table. And I hope that you're joining us next year.
I'm really important. A little bit.
You're really important, are you?
I am really important. This show couldn't happen without me.
Wow, that could be debatable.
What I was trying to say, though, is I'm really impressed this year by some of the performance of the medium mechs. We expected clan mediums to pull a lot of weight, but we had a few Intercer mediums that swung a lot higher than their weight class usually permits.
Mediums can be surprising, especially if you can get them into position to clean up, right? All your big stuff does the damage. The medium comes in and goes, oh, that torso's open. Let me core that engine for you.
Yeah, but I'm talking where we had mediums that were just putting in work, not just kill stealing at the end of the day.
Fair.
With all that being said, we're really happy to have the Battle Babes doing our championship interviews this season, and there will be a set of supplemental podcasts in our interviews playlist. Check them out and enjoy them as well when they come up.
I just added this to the script at the last second, so I wanted to see whether or not anybody wanted to join in with me on this. I wanted each of us to come up with something, a player, a mech, or a new addition to the league that really impressed you. For me, I have to say the Hamilton brothers joining League was just an absolute joy to have in. One brother jumped in right from the beginning. Partway through, we had, due to quality of life and just things they needed to do, they had to drop out. And the other Hamilton brother jumped in and just kept going and went with it. It was really good having you guys in, and I look forward to hearing more about the events you guys are running at the Den or at...
Imaginary Wars.
That's it. I was going to say Imaginary Games, like that doesn't sound right. So, Imaginary Wars, and check it out because they're doing lots of stuff in Calgary.
Definitely helping build that community. They're an amazing pair of guys, and they have a love for the game, just like everybody else who's been with us for League or who listens to this podcast. I have to agree with Lee. They were fantastic additions for this year.
And it's super nice to have people running events at a different game stores so that we can hopefully get the whole community a little bit more cohesive.
Yeah, expanded over the whole city.
I'm going for the province.
Yeah, well, we got to start with our own backyard first. Edmonton's a little
Yeah, Edmonton, we're coming
The
from
Canadian Battletech League, CBL, still works.
Yeah.
Well, and now I don't have anything to talk about because I was going to talk about the Hamilton brothers. For the exact same reasons Lee did.
Okay, Gary, you're being pushed aside. Our new favorite people. It's the Hamiltons.
I mean, 2 is better than 1, right?
I want to throw a couple of shout outs there too, as far as new people. Corey from Ansgar's Outlaws, he is my friend, but the enthusiasm he brought to this, he didn't care if he was winning, he didn't care if he was losing, he was just happy to be sitting there rolling dice, playing with giant stompy robots. It was fantastic. Darren, another one, the guy with the Kodiak, had the same sort of enthusiasm. He was just happy to be there playing. It was so good to see, right? And knowing that they're there enjoying what is being done and just happy to be there. And like Corey's one of those guys who's already looking at, well, what can I do for next year? And I'm sure Jared is too. And I'm sure that Darren is as well. So it's good to see so many new people come out and join and have so much fun. And as far as if there's any mechs that really impressed me, I'm going to say that Darren's Kodiak with that speedster skill on it, when the Kodiak comes running 7 hexes at you, you have to sit there and go, oh dear fuck.
Nope.
What's going on? How did that thing get across the board so fast? That was a really nice touch, and it was a great combination of mech and skill that I didn't see coming at all. I never even thought of, and I have to say, like, that's just well played and well done.
How often do you expect a 100-ton mech to have a 3 defensive mod when it runs 7 straight at you?
Exactly, right? Like, that was the thing. The first one I played him, that thing came across the table at 7 hexes, and I went, what? Oh, crap. That's not right. Yeah, it definitely puts the fear of God in you when that 100-tonner has a 3 or higher movement modifier by the time it's done because of terrain or cover or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, that Grumpy Bear.
Grumpy Bear, yeah.
Absolutely, Grumpy Bear.
But he got the.
Yeah.
I now understand why Lee kept calling it Cocaine Bear at the end, because once it got the speed skill, I understand.
I'm glad he bought that skill after he played me. I didn't have to deal with that. But I do get kudos. I was the first person to kill Grumpy Bear.
Yeah, and I'm just glad I never had to face him.
Next year.
Grumpy Bear is probably my highlight of this season, too.
I also want to throw out one more kudos, and this is a thank you to one of the league regulars, a couple of them actually. You have JP, who, no matter if it's your first day or you've been playing this game for 30 years, that guy will sit down and talk strategy with you, talk how league runs. He is a wealth of information, and he deserves to have a pat on the back for always being there to try to help everybody no matter what. Just have to say thanks to JP for that, because I know it's a big deal for a lot of people in the community, because the players pack can be a little overwhelming and stuff when you're trying to figure out your skills and stuff. Having that knowledge that's there, and then you have other people that bring that kind of, you know, ambassador to the game type thing. You know, they might have crappy luck like John, but he still shows up and he wants to play his game. So you got to give some shout outs to the old guys, and then you know, Lee and Brett, because you guys threw this thing together, and then all the work that the team in general that makes this happen, from the podcast to the game to the players pack. You guys all deserve a pat on the back as well.
Yeah, my league impression is kind of a self-pat on the back, but more for Heather actually, is the tokens we used for random dice, random maps, the bags, the boxes themselves, the little bag with the emblem on them, Brett for getting the dice, having that all set up, making everything pretty streamlined. Thank you for everybody who suffered through the first couple days of getting organized to figure out all the dice and a system to make it run smooth. It just made everything feel more professional.
Like we knew what the hell we were doing.
You recorded that, right, Lee? Because she said
Yeah.
professional
I
and
know,
organized.
Yeah, because the women were running it.
It's almost like we knew who we were supposed to hire.
It's all about proper delegation from the top.
Exactly.
And with mention of the boxes and the dice, the CBL is pleased to announce that we have started a merch store with hats, dice, CBL blankets, and personalized pennants. We'll have the link in the description for the episode, and get a hold of us, fill out the form, and place an order.
So this season we started with 32 teams. That means we had 16 games a week, or a 160 game season.
Of those 160 games, we had a pretty good distribution where most of the maps were played pretty evenly. Our three most popular maps were the Prairie Lakes, the Savannah, and the Mines, two of which are the neoprene maps, seeing 7 battles each this season.
The two least popular maps, having only played a pair of engagements, was the Plains of Death and the Radis River Valley. Which is sad, because Radis River Valley is a beautiful map.
So did all the maps get played?
There wasn't any that didn't.
Excellent. Well, we had 30 maps total in our rotation this year. So maybe that's the right number. Or maybe we should drop it down to 16. Or if we see growth, maybe we should move it up to 40 for next season. I don't know. It's an off-season conversation.
What do our players think? Do they think that they like more variety, or would they like to be able to play on more different maps more consistently?
How many maps did we have renamed this season? There's 3, right?
3, and we are completely open for people to rename it. They just, once again, has to be approved by the admin. No mappy McMap faces, and it's $15.
Show us the money.
The most popular chassis we had was the 75-ton Marauder, with 7 of them showing up this year. And only one of our 6 clan players went with 4 mechs. The rest went with 3 mechs and a point of elementals.
Amazingly enough, only 1 Templar. With how good that mech is, I'm surprised.
It is a fantastic mech.
A real good player would have taken it from the beginning.
And
A champion would have had it in their list from day one.
And why didn't you have one?
Not on my mech list.
Uh-huh.
I tried to talk Justin into taking it this year.
Oh, he should have. That'd have been great. He had a good one anyways. Battlemaster.
I love Justin's lance. There was a couple lances this year that I just loved. Justin's was one of them. Jay's was another one. But I don't know. The Justin's was another one that on paper should have done way better than it did.
Yeah, dice kill you.
Yep.
So, Laura, you are the person who kept track of our weekly predictions. How did we do this season?
Actually, you guys didn't do too bad this year. So, this is regular season only. Brett had 93 games correct, which is a 58.1%. Lee just slightly below with 90 games correct at a 56.2%. Jeff topped both of them. 101 games correct at a 63.1%.
At least that proves that most of the time we do know what we're talking about.
Yeah, numbers don't lie.
How about playoffs, Laura?
Oh, I get to do playoffs too.
You're the one who keeps track of this stuff, not us.
I know. This was actually trickier to keep track of. So, playoff round 1. Brett got 28.5% correct. 1 correct on the A side, 1 on the B, 1 on the C, 1 on the D. Lee, round 1, got 64.2%. He correctly guessed 3 on the A side, 2 for the B side, 2 for C, and 2 for D.
Killing it. Killing it.
Jeff unfortunately missed the first round of playoffs for his predictions. And so did I. So we don't actually have any numbers for that. Brett's round 2. Definitely better than round 1, but there's less teams to choose. He got 71.4%. 2 for the A side, 1 for B, 1 for C, and 1 for D. Lee round 2 beat Brett, 85.7%. 2 for the A, 2 for the B, 1 for C, and 1 for D.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
I at least got over half for round 2 at 57.1. I 1 on the A side, 2 for B, none for the C side, which is sad because that was my side, and 1 on the D side.
We all got D correct for their finals because we all knew John was going to win that.
That is true. Round 2 was the D side final round. So I'm going to start with Lee for the finals. Okay, actually the easiest one, we'll start with me. I got 0 right for finals. Lee for finals only got 1 out of 3 right. 33.3%, and he only got the A side final correct.
I love you, Jeff.
Brett, unfortunately, gets a little bit of an inflated ego and some bragging rights. Brett got none wrong for the finals.
It's an interesting way to say I got it all right.
Yeah. Think about it this way. It was the important one that you got right. Right? The rest of it was like, okay, whatever, I got it wrong. But you got the finals right. That's where the big money is.
Yeah, 100%.
That is where the
finals.
big paydays are.
Yeah.
And officially 100% because he did get the D side champion correct the round before.
Before we wrap up, we also need to talk about our 3 player voted awards. Our Master Tactician award goes to Jeff, the stable master of Kel's Keshik. Not only our A-side champion, also our Master Tactician.
Wait. We're letting some noob get 2 awards? There's got to be a rule against that. One word only.
I'm surprised we even let him back in league after season 2 for him.
I mean, he does do a lot of work for us.
Well, yes, he does. Never mind. Shut up now.
And I'm enthusiastic about coming back and playing in league.
That is true, and you bring extra people with you. It's always good.
Yeah, extra people every year is always a good thing.
The challenge, I think, is going to be bringing more people next year. Aren't you out of friends?
No.
So just bring them all at once.
Problem is, every set of friends I add is another lance I have to paint.
Yeah, just because all your friends joined league already doesn't mean everybody else has run out of them.
I got 2 new ones in this last season. I just got to dig a little deeper. No, sorry, I got 3 in this season. Cal, Darren, and Jared.
Yeah. Yeah, Cal, unfortunately, life took him out of the country for finals, for playoffs, so he wasn't able to keep playing.
You guys are my friends, so what am I supposed to do?
And Cal's actually did really well this season. Like, his lance came
yeah.
together really well, so hopefully he wants to come back.
Our rookies did very well this season. Matter of fact, the past 2 seasons, our rookies have done really well.
And maybe I should not play for a year and come back as a rookie.
Every year for you is a new one.
Yeah, because I'm not much of a noob. I learn something new every year.
That's the important
That
part.
is the important part.
It's much more important to do more damage to them than they do to you.
Or Heather learned her lesson. She didn't jump into any water this year.
Nope.
Nope.
Did Heather even have jumpers this year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She had one.
Her Goliath.
her Goliath.
That's right,
Goliath.
too, when you modified it, you gave it jump jets. That's right.
LRTs, torpedoes on that bad boy.
And the other thing about it is, everyone forgets about the jump jets because all she ever did was use them to get to the top of a hill and then laid down and never moved again.
That's probably the best way to use that mech.
I am pillbox.
Yeah.
See my turret, fear my turret.
Her Imperial Gauss rifle.
All right, Laura, why don't you tell us about the next award?
The Phoenix Hawk Award. Speaking of Heather, she won that one last year. But this year, this award goes to Stable Master Aaron from the Neon Betons.
I love this, considering the fact that he got nominated for something that Brett and I have not agreed upon ever since it happened. He walked himself off a level 5 hill, cliff face, because he parked at the very beginning of the game. He parked himself on a level 5 hill so he could oversee the battlefield. When John's Lance decided they weren't advancing because he had parked his Daishi on the top of a level 7 cliff face, they're like, well, what are we going to do? Nobody's coming anywhere near me. Well, the only thing they could do was walk off the cliff face and just let the dice go where they will. Aaron's mech survived it after taking 5-point shot to the head, was able to get up and keep going. When John saw that, he's like, nope, I ain't doing that. That's going to get me killed. And unfortunately, it cost him the game. He ended up just standing there, and Aaron stood 1 or 2 hexes outside of his range and just hammered him with ERPPCs. I nominated him because, in my belief, any dumb idea is worthy of a Phoenix Hawk Award.
I think we talked about that for weeks after we realized what happened.
And Brett disagrees. Why, Brett?
Because the definition of the award is something that you think is going to be phenomenal strategy-wise and works out to be totally against your success.
Only because you rewrote the bloody award description.
Well, and it
2 years
does
ago.
fit that. They both thought it was absolutely tactically fantastic to plunk their 2 mechs up on 7 and 5 level hills.
With no way down.
I don't think either of them recognized that there was no way down until afterwards, and they were like, oh, I can't get down.
They didn't think it was going to happen. They just thought the other guy was going to come to them.
Now, Aaron, on the other hand, has also deployed a Kingfisher on top of a level 10 hill or a level 10 building without checking the construction factor of the building first.
That's one of my favorite stories that Aaron tells.
Yeah.
And on to our last award. The Good Egg, also known as the Best Sportsmanship Award, goes to Darren, Stable Master of the Teddy Bear Parade, for everybody having such an enjoyable time to play against him, and having him around was just such a boon to the league this year.
Yeah, way to go, Darren, and it was great having you with us, and hopefully you're back next year.
Paint your mechs, goddammit.
Or pay somebody or ask them nicely to do it for you.
Or don't argue with them when they want to.
Yeah, don't ask me. Whatever you do, don't ask me to do it.
Right, Jeff?
I even volunteered this year just because it was driving me nuts.
I volunteered to paint his mechs too.
Give me your mechs, I'll paint them, damn it.
And so did I.
I am so I'm going to have to go through all my mechs and just grab all my unpainted ones to bring next year.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's your intention, is to slowly get your collection painted through league play.
Pity painting.
Hey, my entire lance is pity painted.
Between all the friends that I've had play and events and other things, and I generally try to take different mechs every time to events or whatnot, or for league, and with my friends picking what they pick. I have now got about 40 or 50 of my mechs or elementals are now all painted up. So I take that as a win.
It's a pretty significant amount to credit towards a CBL for paint jobs.
In summary and closing, because I always read what Brett types, I'd like to say this has been probably the best season of Battletech I have ever been involved in, and I've been involved in Stu's, helped administer Bruce's, and now Brett and I have been at this for 3 years.
Don't undersell yourself, Lee. You also ran for a season or two, didn't you?
Yeah, I ran Stews for the last season. But I'm just saying, I played in all three of these. I've enjoyed all of it. This is what, my seventh season as an administrator of League in some way, shape, or form. I love this. You guys are awesome. And our admin staff are just amazing. You guys have been so helpful. Thank you.
What can I say? Thank you for having me this year on the podcast and understanding, life happens, and when my schedule got a little hectic there, I appreciate that. And I'm happy to be able to still come back and join you now. And it's been a fantastic season. For me especially, I did really well this year, and I'm pretty happy about that. But in general, seeing everybody come together as a community and play this game that we all have grown to love of giant stompy robots, it's fantastic. And being on this side of the table and seeing the work that goes into making this happen gives you a whole new appreciation for what League is. So I definitely look forward to next season, and thanks everybody that joined us this season, and thanks everybody that will be coming back next season.
Yeah, being on this side of the podcast definitely gives you absolutely a different perspective, and I am ecstatic that I'm coming in as the guest announcer next year.
Hey,
you did it earlier.
We might be recording next week. I doubt it, but we might be.
Yeah, you guys can do a Rambletech if you want.
Oh yes, during off season we plan on doing a Rambletech again.
Yep.
And I think you might have to re-record some of your command couch.
Oh, yeah, command
With
coach,
the
rules
new-
corner. It's all got to be. The more I've looked at it, same thing. Our Let's Play that needs to be redone.
That was supposed to be done in between last season and this season, and we ran out of time.
Yeah. It's because you're a slave driver and had other things we had to do.
Turns out we put that much time into this in between seasons so that everybody can have an enjoyable time.
Yep. The work never really ends. Brett's going to take a month off, but I'll be working the entire month.
So is this the point where we tell everybody that next season they're getting stable assignments by the order they arrive for draft day?
Ooh, that's a neat twist.
That would be entertaining. Seeing them crawling over each other in the parking lot.
Random draw from a hat.
Nope. Numbered.
We did that. We pretty much
First
did that
person to arrive gets Crusader Clan. Second person gets Comstar. Third person gets
my God.
Rebellion. Rinse and repeat.
Man, there's no bad tables, so just take what you get. If that was the case, there's gems in every list.
There goes everybody's 3 months of planning for, but this is the lance I was going to run off of this table.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because remember, some of these guys do 13 different stables.
Well, Darren and Alex have already had a practice game for potentials for next year.
Well, maybe Alex will do a little bit better next year.
Oh!
He is thinking of going back towards what was successful for him last year as opposed to this year.
Ooh, Howie, that's mean, Mom.
I can, but learn from your mistakes. Like Lee and his lance. Like you said, go with the ones you want, not the other ones. Because you spent so much time and energy and spending the skill points to swap them out.
That's Lee to a T, though. He starts playing, and then halfway through this season, he realizes bad choices were made, and then he uses his skill points to correct.
Yeah, season 2 he did that as well, didn't he, with his Comstar lance?
Yeah, because I went from the Wraith to the Raging.
Yeah.
The problem is I have this idea of what I want to do with my lance, and I kind of have the skills in my head, but I hate doing my skills out fully because I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, what if it doesn't work? So I usually react to how my lance is doing through the season when I do my skill spends. And I always end up looking at going, yeah, that was the wrong mech. Look at the other ones. Yeah, okay, those work together. And I end up dumping a whole bunch of skill points in fixing the problems instead of taking a little bit more time picking exactly the right mechs. So I'm hoping next season I can do a little better.
You know, sometimes you have to take a lesser mech because you know your BV restrictions. I want these 3 mechs. Sometimes you have to do that, right? Jay did that this year by taking a Thunderbolt with his lance, then upgrading it into that Marauder that he took, which was a hell of a Marauder. I ended up swapping it of mine. I thought I was going to do good with the Cataphract, and then there was nothing I could do to make it do what I needed it to do for my lance to work. So I ended up swapping it out. Sometimes you got to make those calls.
Yeah, the league season almost isn't long enough. Because Heather was saying this to me tonight. She gets her lance where she really feels comfortable using it, and the season's over.
This is why we extended it from 8 games to 10 games.
I know, but it's still the same thing though. Like 14 games, I would have been really good with this lance. I would have had it all figured out, and I do hate it when league ends, but it's just so much work. And then I enjoy the break in between.
I mean, it's already an 8-month season commitment, so what do they want, a 10-month?
You get 4 months off?
No, but the players do.
Yeah. Oh no, they don't.
No.
For us, it's an 11-month commitment.
If you saw what my private messages were like from league players over Discord, you would know they don't give up, even in the off season.
All right, well, that's a wrap, everyone. We will talk at you again in the near future. Enjoy your shows, like, subscribe, tell everybody about it. We haven't done a draw in a long time, but that's probably at the 350 mark. So get us more subscribers, find your friends, coerce your colleagues, get anybody you know to try and sign up, and maybe we'll do another draw.
How far are we off?
I think we're at 290, 290-ish.
Yeah, 290-ish.
Okay, good to know.
You cannot generate 60 stealth accounts to get it to that mark.
No, I'm just judging how much time
He's counting all of his friends. He's trying to figure out how many other friends he has that he can bring in.
Not that many.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
And don't forget to check out the merchandise.